Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Buddhism 101, The Four Seals. So the Four Seals are really the foundation of Buddhism. They are, in a sense, the skeleton of the philosophy that everything really boils down to in the end. It's been said that if all of these four seals are to be found in a path or in a philosophy, then it can be considered the path of the Buddha. So, without further ado, the four seals are as follows. Number 1, all compounded phenomena are impermanent. Number 2, all emotions are pain. Number 3, all things have no inherent existence. And number 4, enlightenment is beyond concepts. So let's look at the first seal. All compounded phenomena are impermanent. Well, what are compounded phenomena? In short, everything. Everything that is considered a whole, made up of smaller parts, is to be defined as compounded. And there isn't anything outside of this definition, as the solar system is just that, a system. Our planet is a sort of complicated system. The human body is a system made of many smaller systems. The mind is a system. Surely we know that weather patterns and storms are systems. That much is obvious to us, but do we ever stop to think about our own bodies? We age as time passes by each moment. The lifespans of our physical bodies are very much impermanent, whether or not we are seduced into the ideas of anti-aging and self-preservation in their many guises. So in essence, anything that is compounded is impermanent and will eventually cease to be. This includes everything: relationships, lives, possession of objects, objects themselves, memories, feelings. Now, to many people, this will seem like a rather negative way of thinking and a pessimistic philosophy. But on the contrary, death and impermanence are very realistic things to keep in mind and to think about. Pretending that all is forever, we find ourselves in a state of delusion, a state in which we live in our own little worlds, free from the way that things actually are. But if we learn to accept the impermanence of all things, including ourselves, including everyone and everything we have ever loved and known, is the path to liberation. We are able to accept the facts of loss and change, and this is the point. The second seal, again, is all emotions are pain. Well, how can happiness or joy be pain? That doesn't even make sense now, does it? Love and acceptance seem to be the opposite of pain, right? Well, that's the point there. Duality. Subject and object. Observer and observed. Us on the one hand, and what we experience on the other. This very relationship is the problem. The fact that the mind is dualistic brings about delusion. So, for example, if I really like a certain song, and I think that it's the most beautiful piece of music ever composed in human history, then obviously everyone else would have to hold the same opinion as me. So what does that mean for everyone else who thinks that that song is boring and distasteful? Well, it means that I am projecting my own opinion onto something, and that it is not independent. It depends on my mind and my belief. I made it real, and I forgot that my projection is just a subjective experience. So the mind goes on to create happiness. Well, what is happiness other than the minimizing of pain or sadness? Can happiness then be considered as small sadness or small pain? Pleasure is a direct cause of some pain that we will, sooner or later, feel the effects of. And meanwhile, disgrace is a loss of favor. One fears losing favor and falling into disgrace. Anxiety and love are constructions of the personality. And without a personality, there is no anxiety, there is no love. Just as without a body, there is no such thing as distress or discomfort, when there is no body there to experience those things. So the point here is that since emotions are to be seen as impermanent and dualistic, they are considered to be pain. And this now brings us to the third seal. All things have no inherent existence. This can be taken to mean that all phenomena are empty. More specifically, our projected ideas and opinions about objects bear no resemblance to what those objects actually are. This can mean that everything exists dependently, dependent on conditions and causes, beliefs and projections. Nothing exists that doesn't depend on causes and conditions, and therefore, as the seal states, all things have no inherent existence. And the final seal, enlightenment is beyond concepts. We have in a way already explained this in the previous seal, but what is enlightenment? It surely isn't romantic or transcendent. It isn't an awakening from some lower state of slumber. It isn't even a goal at the end that we're trying to achieve for ourselves. It is rather an understanding of the previous seals. It is like a removing of everything that causes delusion, suffering, and attachment. A wiping clean of all that obscured one's seeing the true nature of things, that is, impermanent and empty of inherent existence. We want to understand these things intellectually because if we do, we will feel more at ease when things happen in our lives. We aren't devastated beyond repair when something bad happens. We see these focally as our view and find that no matter what life throws at us, we can deal with it in a calm state. We can therefore go through our lives with a little bit less suffering every day.